Today, we become legends.
I think we all know what I'm talking about when I say gods that you enjoy playing against and gods that you absolutely despise playing against. Hey, my name's Inter, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, then be sure to subscribe for all my content coming soon. Today, we're going to be doing the fun to play against tier list. I don't know what I'm actually going to call this video because that's a terrible title. I'll think of something. But basically, it's how fun the character is to play against. So I have these 5 tiers, which are like the scale of, a joy to play against all the way down to being really boring. So this is like fun to boring, and I have this little bottom tier here that's grey. That's sort of like separate from the rest of the progression of the tier list. That's just actually unfun. Like any character that I think is genuinely unfun to play against will be down here. But let's just jump straight in. I assume the tiers are relatively self-explanatory. So Achilles, pretty fun actually. I don't mind playing against Achilles at all. Actually, it's quite fun. Especially in solo lane, I do enjoy the Achilles matchup quite a lot. And even from jungle, he can burst you pretty hard from jungle, but not too bad in my opinion. Agni. Probably same thing actually. I never hate seeing an Agni and playing against an Agni. It's really interesting to see how they play, like use their ultimates and their stuns and all that stuff. The fast wave clear that Agni has in like the first few levels makes it a pretty interesting learning phase in mid and stuff like that. So Agni, pretty fun. AMC, he's either meh or he's boring. I really don't like playing against AMC. Probably boring, honestly. Like you gotta constantly like keep track of his hives and destroy them. He just spams slows everywhere. Like your teammates spread bees to you all the time for no fucking reason. He's not that fun in my opinion. Arpwash is either boring or actually unfun. I imagine a lot of you guys that don't play Conquest and play other modes like Joust and Assault, you probably put Arpwash in actually unfun. For me, I think I'll put him in just boring. But like there's nothing fun going against Arpwash. He just like spams out abilities everywhere, just vomits them on you, and then corpse explodes and does like your entire health bar. And then if he's not doing that, he's super far behind and he's just really like free kills, which isn't fun either. I don't think he's quite on actually unfun, but I imagine in like Assault or Joust he probably is down there. Amaterasu, probably a joy. This may come from the fact that I really enjoy playing as Amaterasu, but I really don't dislike the Amaterasu matchup whatsoever. It feels like a very fair matchup in solo where no one's won the lane by default when you play against Amaterasu, usually. Often you have a chance to beat Amaterasu, but she also has a chance to beat you, which I think makes for a really interesting learning phase. And playing around her abilities, trying not to like eat the mirror, trying not to charge her mirror too fast, trying to force her to swap into speed aura before she clears the wave, things like that. There's a lot of interesting stuff you can do in the matchup. Saving your jump for getting away from her ult and things like that. So I'm going to put this one in a joy, I think. And her, probably the same thing. Just the amount of interesting stuff that Anher can do, like pillar impales, aggressive jumps, shifting sands placement to like block auto attacks, and there's so much interesting with Anher, especially playing against him. Playing as him, I find him pretty fun, but playing against him is really fun in my opinion in the ADC role, and even in mid, honestly. Anubis, you guys are going to hate me for this one, but I'm going to put him in pretty fun. I really enjoy playing against Anubis. I don't understand why so many people have a problem with him. I think he's a fun character. He's somewhat like Arpwash, where like if he gets ahead, he's going to nuke the shit out of you, but if he gets behind, he's going to be really just like kind of useless. But I don't know, the way Anubis plays, I just kind of like it. Actually, maybe I'll move him down to don't mind, because the lifesteal can be a bit obnoxious sometimes. You know, it can be unfun to like have an Anubis on 10% HP and then he drops his 3 in his ult and he full heals. But you can buy anti-heal to deal with that, but honestly, yeah, I think it's probably worth dropping him down 1 tier just for the annoying lifesteal. Alquang, meh. I don't really like Alquang, to be honest, playing against him. Playing as him is actually pretty fun, but playing against him, it feels like with Alquang, he just has like brief spurts in the meta where he's just insanely strong, and he just like dominates ranked and stuff like that. I have really bad memories playing against Alquang in like early season ranked in a lot of the previous seasons. He's just not that fun. Executes, again, not amazingly fun, even though I did put Achilles up here, but that was mostly for the rest of his kit. Executes typically aren't too fun to play against. He has invisibility as well. He has insane burst damage. Aphrodite is the first actually unfun. I'm sure any of you who know me even slightly or have watched my content know that Aphrodite is definitely going in that tier. There's just really nothing fun about Aphrodite, to be honest. She just like links to someone. The heals are annoying. Healers in general, I'm going to put lower on the list because I really don't like playing against healers. And then, like, you know, being able to immune people, like, make her teammates allowed to make terrible plays, and she saves them because of the healing and the ult and the back off and stuff like that, like extra damage from the back off. It's just not fun whatsoever. I think most people agree with my placement of Aphro down here. Apollo, probably in meh. I really don't like Apollo's playstyle. A lot of people split push with Apollo, and it's really annoying, and Also, you can like maybe take a fight where you have like a mana advantage and then Apollo just ults over and your mana advantage is gone immediately and you lose the fight because of it. I really don't like playing against Apollo whatsoever. Also, really difficult to box in ADZ because you got to keep track of his passive. If he's going to get that passive pretty soon, you can't box him because he's just going to outtrade you. Oh, also the instant mez. Anyone who uses any kind of channel ability, everyone that plays those characters hates Apollo because of the instant mez. Arachne, actually on fun as well. I'm not going to have too many down in this tier, but it turns out a lot of the ones that I want in this tier seem like they're going to be in the first sort of half of the god list alphabetically. But yeah, Arachne, does anyone find Arachne fun to play against? I can sort of see the argument for her being fun to play as, but fun to play against? No one enjoys playing against Arachne. It's just a W key, like she just threes you, a W keys at you with 2 steroids, and then ults if she wants to get away, because the ult is a great escape ability. Ares... I don't mind Ares, actually. Ares is pretty okay. The chains can be really obnoxious, but like there is counterplay to them. You know, you can beads and jump away, you can juke them, because you have he only has a certain amount of time to fire the next chain, so if you can just juke around, he might like miss the window to fire the next chain, or he might just fire it like hastily and miss it. Save beads for his ult, obviously. A lot of characters have CC immune ults. If CC immune ults weren't so prevalent in the game, I think Ares would be more toxic to play against, but the fact that like 80% of characters have CC immunity on their ults mean you can just burn your ult in response to Ares ult and it's not so bad. Artemis, pretty fun actually. I do enjoy playing against Artemis. The trap play is interesting. The boar can be a little obnoxious. That's the only thing I don't really like about her too much, but she's one of those like late game gods that, you know, you're gonna have a relatively easy time in the laning phase against her for the most part, but once she gets late game, she's gonna be a force to be reckoned with, and I think that's a quite interesting design. Artio, actually on fun, 6-second AoE cripple, do I need to say anything else? Obviously she has some more obnoxious stuff in her kit, like the instant stun, way too much damage for a guardian, protection shred for days, but it's mostly the 6-second cripple. You know, any character that relies even slightly on movement, like Achilles, like Fenrir, any of these characters, or even just a character with like where they want to jump away with their movement, Artio just shuts that down completely and it's not very fun. Athena... probably meh. Athena, really fun to play as. I super enjoy Athena. But to play against, the taunt is so obnoxious, especially as a frontliner. You get taunted as a frontliner, you just die, because you're not going to have beads for the most part as a frontliner. And if she forces you to buy beads on a tank just to deal with her, that's pretty annoying. Her ult also, like, similar to Apollo, you think you're winning a fight and she just ults over for free. Or like someone's out of position, they get Athena ulted, they're pretty much safe. It can be pretty annoying. Awilix, a joy, honestly. Awilix is like super fun to play as, super fun to play against. I think Awilix is a really good and fun design in my opinion. Obviously you got to be wary of knockups, you got to make sure you save your beads, but like the amount of stuff Awilix can do to outplay you makes it a really interesting fight to play against her in my opinion. Baba Yaga, I never see her, so I'm not really sure where to put her, to be completely honest. What is she? I mean, the RNG can be a little annoying, but it's not too oppressive, really. I think I'll put her in meh. To be honest, probably just because like she does have some RNG in her kit and that can be pretty annoying. Sometimes you just get sniped by the wrong version of the one that you didn't think was coming. So I'll put her in there. Bacchus, I don't mind really. Don't really have any strong opinions either way on Bacchus. The burst damage can be a little bit obnoxious sometimes, but he's a pretty fun design. Both in like visual design, like just the way he kind of plays is pretty funny. And then just his kit as well. I don't hate his kit too much. Bacchusura is either boring or actually unfun. Probably actually unfun actually. Just the way Bacchusura plays in jungle is just the worst. It's like he just invades all your shit, he just eats all your minions, you can't really do anything about it. And then he just like power farms until he gets Golden Blade, then power farms some more with Golden Blade until he's 5 levels up on your entire team and then pukes on them and then you lose the game because your teammates don't know how to play against Bacchusura in ranks. That's basically my experience with Bacchusura. Baron Samedi, probably meh. Insanely fun to play as. I really love Baron's design overall, but is a bit obnoxious to play against, to be honest. With all the hysteria stuff, with the roots spreading to teammates, with the slow immunity just getting him out of so many situations, him reducing your power and attack speed, the suck, obviously, the suck. Like, Baron can be pretty obnoxious to play against, I'll admit that. But he's definitely not boring. It's not boring to play against Baron. It's just a little bit unfun sometimes, but not to the point where I will put him in this bottom tier. Bastet, probably boring, honestly. I don't really like Bastet's new design. It's just like pop the ult and vomit your entire kit. If you killed a bunch of people, that's great. If you didn't kill a bunch of people, you now suck. It's kind of like Freya's old design, to be honest with you. It's not really that fun. Bologna, probably pretty fun. Once again, this might be like Arma in that like I really enjoy Bologna myself, so I know the matchup very well and I know what to expect and it's fun for me, but I can see the argument for Bologna being moved down because like she's a very obnoxious lane bully. The disarms can be pretty annoying. Like the whole hammer, like insta-clearing the way of the block stacks as well. Like I can see an argument for Bologna being moved down one to maybe don't mind, similar to Anubis, where like I do enjoy playing against her, but there are some parts of her kit that can be pretty obnoxious, let's say. So I think I'll put her in don't mind, honestly. Cabrakan is super fun in my opinion. Once again, kind of like Bologna, there are some obnoxious parts of Cabrakan's kit, like his ridiculous burst damage and the 3 just like clearing waves instantly, but I always feel like I have fun against Cabrakan. There is ways to counter his 3 and counter him in general. I enjoy playing against Cabrakan. Camazotz is hella boring. He's just like a big lane bully in solo. I don't really know about jungle too much, but this is mostly coming from my solo lane experience against Camazotz. When Kama's meta, I don't enjoy it very much in solo, so I'm going to put him down in boring. Cerberus is, I don't mind. I don't really have any strong opinions on Cerberus either way, to be honest. He's okay. Cernunnos, probably the same, honestly. I don't really have any super strong opinions on Cernunnos. Chak, pretty boring. Just like pops rain, you can't, like, you have no attack speed. He's a big fat lane bully, honestly. That's kind of all he does. He doesn't really do too well in team fights. He just kind of like bullies you out of lane and then like last spams you. I don't really find playing against Chak very fun. Changa, probably actually unfun. I really don't like Changa. She just spams one at you over and over and over and over again until you just hate yourself. She has the immunity, which can be pretty annoying. She doesn't even have to back. She has healing, which makes her inherently more annoying. I really don't like Changa whatsoever. Chernabog, I'll put it in meh simply because his global ult is really fucking annoying. Like, the fact that it global slows people. Like, Chernabog can ult from, like, duo lane to a mid lane fight, like a little mid lane skirmish in, like, the early game. And then you, as the solo laner, get slowed for that. Even though he's not part of your fight whatsoever, he's just ulting to a different fight, you get global slowed for that. I find that really annoying with Chernabog. I would almost prefer it if, like, he's slowed in the area he's TPing to, like a 55 unit radius in the area he's TPing to, something like that. It's just really annoying that it global slows and like I get fucked because enemy Chernabog is ulting to mid when I'm a solo and it doesn't make any sense. Chiron is fine. I don't really mind Chiron. No strong opinions really. Kronos can be kind of obnoxious, to be honest. His ult and like his insane late game prowess, like if he gets to late game, you're just kind of screwed. But it is interesting that, like, his one does take a fair bit of skill to hit. You can juke it pretty easily. I don't know. This one could probably go up to don't mind, I think. But I think I'll leave him in meh for now. Cthulhu, meh. Cthulhu's just, like, the biggest fucking lane bully in existence, it feels like. He's not, but it kind of feels like that. And when he ults, it's just like, what the fuck do I even do? It feels really difficult to deal with a lot of the time. Kukulkan, really fun, actually. I enjoyed the Kukulkan matchup in solo a lot. Him playing around rage and you kind of playing around his rage also, like thinking about when he's going to transform and if he should transform at certain times is pretty interesting, honestly. He's one of those gods similar to Amma where like you don't automatically lose lane or he doesn't automatically lose lane. It's a matchup where it can definitely go either way in most matchups, which I just find really fun in solo lane. Cupid, meh, honestly. The ult is really annoying, like the fact that it instant cripples, his whole design in general. I'm not leaning too much on visual design and voice for this, more so on their kit design, but Cupid's visual design is just the worst. I really hope they remodel him, to be honest, but I know that's kind of like how he's supposed to be, but it just annoys me, to be honest. And then he has a little bit of healing as well, also. Like, I just really don't like Cupid, to be honest. Daji, so Daji's ult is super obnoxious, but the rest of her kit is pretty fine. I think that probably warrants me putting her in meh. A lot of the characters down here where they have like sort of one or two things that I really don't like about them, but the rest is pretty fine. Typically go down here. Danza, I really haven't played against enough Danza to have an opinion on him, to be honest. The homing rocket's kind of annoying. The Leafs are also kind of annoying, so maybe I'll put him down here, but like I really don't have a strong opinion on Danza, to be honest. Discordia, probably down here as well, just the ult really. The rest of the kit I find totally fine. It's really interesting that like the 2 is super good if you get caught standing next to someone. There's some really interesting counterplay there, and she's quite low mobility, and if she uses her mobility aggressively to reset her cooldowns, that's a risk she can take to be more powerful but be more risky. I think that's a really interesting part, but her ult does really drag her down. The Discordia ult is just so annoying. Erlang Shen, probably here also, to be honest. I really like playing as Erlang Shen. I think he's one of the most fun characters in the game. The way he plays and the way his kit flows is super interesting to me, but playing against him is just the most obnoxious thing in the world. Just getting like, if he hits the taunt on you, his CCs don't DR each other anymore because roots aren't DR'd and knockups aren't DR'd. So if he initiates with taunt, he just like knocks you up and then pins you and you're fucked basically because his CCs don't DI each other and you just lock down forever, and his insane damage, you're just going to die at that point. Fafnir, probably a joy, honestly. I really like playing against Fafnir. It feels like there's a lot of counterplay to him. Like you can block his stun, that's a good example of it, and then obviously when he goes ult form, like when he's deforming from the ult, like he's very vulnerable. Fenrir, actually unfun. I really hate playing Fenrir. This is almost entirely because of his ult, but also because of Brutalize a little bit. Like, Brutalize is like such a trash ability for the most part, but if there ever is a situation where you're gonna eat the full Brutalize when you don't have your jump or a silence or whatever, it's just the worst. It does so much damage. But they can't make it do less damage because it's already a bad ability because of how easy it is to counter. So, yeah, Fenrir, and then the ult, obviously, like I said, if you don't have beads, if you're like a tank, or if your beads are just on cooldown, you're just dead because Fenrir is just going to pull you under tower, and that's not fun gameplay in my opinion. Freya, same thing really. Well, not the same thing, but same tier. Freya's just like, I'm going to press 2 buttons, and if I kill your entire team, that's cool. If I don't kill your entire team, then I'm fucked. Banish is pretty annoying as well. The ult is like super safe, but it's mostly the fact that just like she pops 2 abilities, and then if she kills your entire team, that's cool. Ganesha, a joy to play against. I love playing against Ganesha. His design is really cool in my opinion, and his kit as well is just like, there's nothing wrong with playing against Ganesh. I just feel like I'm always having a good time when I see Ganesh in a game. Geb, probably don't mind because I do really like playing against Geb, but the shield can be really obnoxious. That's the only reason he's like down here. He'd probably be up here if it wasn't for the shield just being like super annoying sometimes. Guan Yu, probably one of the only healers I'm going to put like any higher than Meh, to be honest. I just really dislike healers, but Guan to me isn't really like a healer in the sense that like his primary focus is healing. Like he does have a lot of other things within his kit, like a lot of CC, a lot of damage, a lot of movement that makes him pretty interesting. Hachiman, pretty interesting. I don't mind Hachiman, honestly. Playing the Hachiman matchup is pretty fun. The only thing I don't like about him really is the extra range arrows, but you can play around those because basic attacks have travel time in Smite. The further they're going, the longer the travel time will be and the more time you have to juke them. So if he is firing from max range, they're relatively easy to juke and they're not too bad. Hades, actually on fun, another one that just goes down here. Like, Hades solo is the least fun matchup in the entire game in my opinion. This might be even more unfun than the likes of Aphro and Arachne. Hades is just the worst, dude. Like, he just automatically wins lane in solo. Like I was saying about Cocoon and Amaterasu, those kind of matchups in solo, where the matchup isn't decided as soon as the game starts. It can definitely go either way. Hades is the complete opposite of that. Like, as soon as you see a Hades in the pick screen, you've automatically lost lane unless you're also playing Hades. That's basically how this matchup works, and it's just super unfun. Like, infinite healing, he heals his own waves, so there's like no way you can clear whatsoever. You just have to let him do his thing, and then hope you can get some of the farm, like, after the fact. It's just super unfun. Hebo, should Hebo go in actually unfun? He probably should, honestly. Hebo is one of those characters where, like, if we're doing how fun he is to play, he's up here. If we're doing how fun he is to play against, he's down here. It's just like, Hebo to play is like some of the most fun things in existence. Just like pressing 3 and someone dies is so much fun. But playing against Hebo's kind of the worst. Like, just dying immediately and the carpet. Like, any melee god that tries to chase Hebo, he just carpets and you can't really do anything. It's pretty obnoxious. Heimdallr, probably in boring, honestly. I still don't like playing against Heimdallr. Playing as him is pretty fun, but playing against him, I don't know. The horn is really obnoxious. The teleports, like the fact that he can just teleport away, like when he's in a bad situation. Like if he's out of position, push too far up lane, just teleport out, you're fine. The ult as well, just like such good setup and such good peel, honestly, because you're out of the fight for like 5 seconds. It's just really good for that. Hell, probably actually unfun. Once again, a healer that's primary focus is actually healing. I really dislike those type of gods. That's the main reason why Hell's down here. Hera, we'll put her in Meh just because Argus is like super annoying. The rest of her kit is pretty fine in my opinion. Actually pretty fun to play against, I would say, but just the fact that like she can kind of just drop Argus on you and press 3 and then Argus kills you sometimes just really isn't that fun. Hercules. Hercules could be in like either of these 3 tiers really, depending on where you want to go with it. I feel like if I put him up here, maybe that's because I'm biased towards Hercules. I feel like playing against him is like super obnoxious. You just get hit by the 2, you die. He presses 3 and just absorbs all your damage. His ult does way too much base damage. It's like 800 or something stupid, so maybe I'll put him down here. You could arguably say he should be here though, to be completely honest. Maybe you should be here. It's kind of similar to Fen, where like if Fen ults you and you have no beads, you're dead. If Hercules hits a 2 on you and you have no beads, you're also dead. And then like his early game, like you can't box him whatsoever. As soon as he gets that passive stacked up, he's just gonna outtrade you. Once again, like Hebo, Hercules is up here for me in terms of how fun he is to play, but in terms of playing against him, nah, he probably deserves to be down here. Horus, pretty fun actually. I don't mind Horus. His early game damage is a little bit obnoxious. Like his 1 and his 2 do so much damage early game. Like his basic kit is really strong. But the like play around potential with his ultimate, seeing a Horus do actually useful things with his ultimate is really interesting to see in my opinion. So that's probably why he's up here. Huyi, probably just a joy, honestly. If you ever get triple bounced by a Huyi, I'm never salty about that. I'm really happy for him that they like hit a nice triple bounce. I never get salty about that kind of thing. And just the Huyi matchup in general, like the bounces, the fact that he can use his jump really aggressively and it's super snappy, really fun to play around. I just really enjoy playing against Huyi, to be honest. The one who shall not be named / Eset, I guess that's what she's going to be called now. Probably actually unfun or maybe boring. Probably boring. She just has like super insane wave clear. That's the main reason she's down here. She's just like completely uncontestable in the laning phase, really. She has like so much early game damage. The silence is pretty annoying, especially since they extended the range. Izanami, again, could be in either of these two tiers, really. Does Izanami deserve to be on the level of like Hades and Aphrodite, though? Probably not. I just accidentally moved Hades. Probably not. I think boring is probably where she should sit, really. It's just the fact that she dominates lane. It's similar to Eset, really. Just like, she's gonna just use boomerang autos and win the lane for free, and it's kind of obnoxious. Her invisibility also as well, but that's a little easier to deal with. Giannis, just a joy. I love playing against Giannis players. The portals, I guess you could argue, like, maybe should bring him down a little bit. Maybe he should be in pretty fun, considering that. But, like, I never hate playing against a Giannis player. If he takes so much skill to, like, properly use, that if I ever get wrecked by a Giannis, it's usually because the player was really good, not because the god is, like, obnoxious. Which is a good sign that I think he's pretty fun to play against. Jingwei, boring. Just insanely safe laning phase. You're never going to get anything done against a Jingwei because she's so safe. Even if you do manage to like win a trade and poke her out, she just backs and comes back to lane within like 5 seconds for free. Just kind of boring with how safe she is, really. Jormungandr, his ult can be pretty obnoxious, to be completely honest with you. Same thing with the pool, so maybe he should be down here. I was going to put him up here, but probably here, to be honest. Kali, actually unfun. Kali is the worst, dude. I do enjoy playing Kali. Kali's probably like up in like pretty fun or a joy to play as, but to play against, similar to a lot of the ones down here, like Hebo and Hercules, she's just so obnoxious, dude. If she ever gets to late game, you kind of just auto lose, especially if like you're in ranked with no comms and your teammates don't really know how to deal with Kali and they just get walked down by her because they don't group up and just CC her when she ults. It's pretty obnoxious. The amount of ranked games I've lost that I shouldn't have lost because we let them get to 25 minutes with a Kali is just, it puts a bad taste in my mouth. Khepri, same as Geb, really. The rest of his kit is totally fine, but his ult can be pretty obnoxious, so it brings him down a little bit into like a kind of average tier. King Arthur? I'll probably put him here. I feel like a lot of you guys will put King Arthur in actually unfun, but maybe this is my bias because I enjoy the character and I know a lot about him, so I can deal with him pretty well. But for me, I don't mind playing against Arthur. Kind of similar to Anubis, actually. I feel like a lot of people would put Anubis in unfun, but I don't mind him, to be honest. Kukulkan, a little too safe for me to put him like super high up in my opinion, but the ult is super interesting. But like the fact that he just tornadoes the wave and then 2's away and hides under his tower is like, that's how a lot of Kukulkan players play, and it's very, very fucking boring. Not Kukulkan, Kumba, unfun. I don't think anyone disagrees with this. Super obnoxious CC, can leave you mez for like 3.5 seconds, banishes you out of the fight, does ridiculous damage for what he is, just so annoying. Kuzumba, probably meh, like he's just kind of a bit obnoxious in a way. I know I'm overusing that word, but like the fact that he just spins on you and you can't really do anything, and then like the damage reflect, the fact that he has like infinite cooldowns, pushing you through the wave and doing half your health if you're not careful, he can be pretty annoying. Loki, I'm going to put him in don't mind. Once again, this is another thing where this is my personal opinion. I'm sure you guys don't agree with this one. I'm sure most of you will put Loki in actually unfun, but especially after the rework, I really don't mind playing against Loki at all. Especially in solo, I actually find it a fun matchup. His 2 is pretty annoying, but it's nowhere near as annoying as his 2 was before, where he just 2'd the wave and ran away. A lot of Loki players in solo now sort of build Bruiser and actually fight you, and it makes for a lot more of an interesting laning phase. I really don't mind Loki that much anymore. Medusa is fine. I have no real complaints about Medusa. Mercury, probably fine also. I was going to maybe put him in mech because like the fact that he can kill you in 2 basics late game is kind of annoying, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Let's scroll ourselves down a little here. Merlin, how do I feel about Merlin? Probably just don't really mind him, honestly. There's some parts that are kind of annoying, but I do think he's a really interesting god to play against. He has a lot of potential that you have to think about and play around. Mulan is pretty meh, honestly. She just has like super ridiculous damage on all of her abilities for no reason to make up for like her other flaws in her overall design. I don't think that's a good way of going about it, to be honest. Neja is fine. I don't have any complaints about Neja. Neith, probably also fine. I don't really hate playing against Neith, actually. The only reason I would put her like further down is because everyone plays her and there's so many Neith players and it's really annoying. But I don't think popularity should really come into this too much. It's just like in a vacuum, if I'm playing against this god, do I enjoy them or not? Neith is fine. Nemesis is also fine, maybe even pretty fun actually. There's a lot of play around potential for Nemesis. Really fun to play as, pretty fun to play against in my opinion. Nike is boring as hell. The 2 pushing you back is just super obnoxious. If you use your jump and she tries to like push you under your tower, like who wants to deal with that? The Rend's just like really insane damage, super good wave clear, and then obviously the shield is just like the most obnoxious thing in the world. You almost have her dead and then she just gains half her health as a shield. Nox, actually unfun. I don't think anyone disagrees with this one. It's pretty obvious why she's down here. The 2-1 combo is her entire existence, and if you hit the 2-1 combo, good job, you won the fight. If you miss the 2-1 combo, good job, you suck. Don't play the game, basically. Nuwa, probably boring. She just like plays super safe. Her ult is just like a free damage button for noobs. Just not very fun. Odin, I actually don't mind the Odin matchup quite as much anymore. When he was super OP, I didn't like this matchup a lot because he would just like spam shield and be kind of invincible, but there is some interesting play around with Odin for sure. Oleron, I'll put him meh just because his ult is super annoying. The rest of his kit I find really interesting, for sure. But the ult's just like, I don't know, I never like to play against an Oleron ult. Osiris, put him here as well. He's just kind of like a big fat lane bully. He just spams one at you over and over and over and over again. Just sickle all the time in between waves. It can get a bit annoying. Pele's fun actually. Maybe like up here. I can't really find any like major complaints about Pele. At release, her passive was way too strong and it was super annoying. But now I think they've toned it down. I actually don't mind it. So no complaints about Pele. She's pretty fun. Persephone, once again, I don't think anyone's going to disagree. Actually unfun. Playing against Persephone is just fucking horrendous. Infinite range. The plants are super difficult to actually juke properly, even for good players. The ult, just like, she can fire the ult at a wall and it still impacts you pretty majorly. She can hit one of your teammates that didn't juke the ult and you get fucked for it. It's just like, it's just the worst, dude. Poseidon, I find Poseidon really fun actually. It's all about playing around the Kraken, and if you can manage to make him waste his Kraken, then he's not very useful, but if he does hit that Kraken, boy, you're gonna eat shit. Pretty fun playstyle in my opinion. Raijin is fine, no complaints about Raijin really. Rama, probably the same. His ult is pretty interesting, so maybe up here. Yeah, we'll put Rama up there. I don't dislike playing against Rama. Ra, one of the only healers actually that I'm going to put in like a decent tier because I feel like Ra's healing is almost secondary. Like a lot of his strength actually comes from his damage, and just obviously Ra snipes are just the best. Even if I get Ra sniped, I'm not salty. It's like when I get outplayed by Janus or like triple bounced. I'm never salty when those things happen to me. Rat. I've not got too much experience with post-rework Rat, to be honest with you. I don't think I hate him, though. I think he's alright. Raven is super fun, actually. Maybe even up here. I don't know what it is about Raven, but I just really enjoy playing against him. He never seems to really have anything that tilts me. It's just, like, quite an honest kit, in my opinion. He does have immunity, but it's quite a short immunity, and if you can play around it correctly, and like if he uses it correctly, you feel like you got outplayed. You don't feel like the god cheesed you or anything like that. There's just something about Raven that I really enjoy. Scylla is fine. I don't really mind Scylla, to be honest. She can dominate teams. Obviously, she's very strong right now, but for this, I'm trying not to take into account how like strong they are meta-wise. I'm just trying to like think about their overall kit, which I don't really mind too much with Scylla. The one becoming an AoE route is a little obnoxious, but I don't mind it that much. Serket is pretty boring, honestly. She just has like so much CC, but I guess, yeah, maybe I'll move her up just because if like you get hit by the double blades, it's like you really did get outplayed, and that Serket is playing super well if she gets that for you. But like the ult is just like really annoying on Serket, and the amount of mobility she has is just ridiculous. Set. I feel like the only reason I don't like playing against Set is because he's super strong. I think overall, if I'm discounting the fact that he's just like been insane for like the last few months, I don't mind playing against Set all that much actually. Skadi, actually unfun, just like press 2 on someone and then maybe make them slide into your tower on the ice if you're feeling like a troll. Super boring god. Sobek, not unfun, but very boring, especially in the solo lane matchup. He just stalemates the wave and like you never get anything done in solo. He just plays super passive for the most part. Sol, don't mind. I don't really have any strong opinions either way on Sol. Wukong, kind of boring. To play as Wukong is pretty fun. To play against Wukong is just the worst, dude. He just infinite pokes you with the one, has so much safety with the bird and the ult. Like, you're never going to really get a kill on him if he's playing well. It's just super obnoxious. Susanoo, probably meh. Maybe even boring, honestly, but probably meh. It's not boring to play against Susanoo, but it can be a little bit annoying sometimes. So much mobility, so much burst damage, so much crowd control. He kind of has everything, really. Sylvanas, I don't mind Sylvanas. He can be pretty strong, but he definitely has weaknesses, like his lack of mobility and things like that. Terra is one of those gods where like I just really enjoy playing against Terra. I never feel like I'm having a bad time playing against a Terra. Thanatos, I don't mind. His early game damage can be a little obnoxious and executes and stuff like that, but really, Thana has his strong points, but also has his weak points. There's definitely not too much to complain about with Thana. Morrigan is always super fun. If a Morrigan plays really well, it's a joy to watch, honestly. Even if I get destroyed by someone playing Morrigan really well, I don't mind at all. Thor, pretty similar, but probably not to the same level. I'd probably put Thor in pretty fun. I really don't dislike playing against Thor. His burst damage can be pretty nuts, but that's part of the fun, in my opinion. Thoth, probably meh. Thoth is just like so obnoxious, dude. He just like sits behind a wall, puts the glyph up, and just throws his entire kit through the wall because everything he has goes over walls. And it's all just like ranged lines and stuff. It's just like an artillery bombardment. Playing Thoth is fun, playing against Thoth is not so fun. Tiamat, I can't really place, to be honest. I've not had enough experience with her, but I'll just put her in don't mind for now. Tsukuyomi is probably meh or maybe even boring, honestly. Nah, probably meh, I would say. At release, he was probably actually unfun, but since they've taken away some of his ridiculous things and given you like knockups to counter his 2, things like that, he's not quite as bad anymore. Tyr is boring though. It's just like he infinite heals off the wave. I think they did nerf the healing recently, but it's still super ridiculous. And then like tries to push you on the tower all the time. That's 99% of tier players spend their entire game walking backwards trying to push you into that tower or like trying to get a blink on you. Ulla is really fun actually. Can be insanely strong in the right hands, but honestly, not too bad to play against. Just don't get hit by the axe, lol, and then you'll be fine against Ulla. But if you do get hit by the axe, you're going to eat shit for it. But I think that's kind of a fun design. Vamana, pretty boring, honestly. If Vamana gets a lead, he just ults and W keys at you, and I don't really find that too fun, to be honest. Vulcan is probably one of the most fun gods in the entire game to play against. I don't know what it is, but I just really fucking love playing against Vulcan. I can even overlook the fact that his turret is annoying, because I don't know, something about Vulcan, dude. He's so satisfying to play against and to play around. Like, when I see a good Vulcan, it just makes me want to coom, dude. It really does. Like, a good Vulcan is something else. I really enjoy playing against Vulcan. Xbalanque is fine. I don't really have any super strong opinions about Xbalanque. Jingqian, probably the same thing. Yamoja, I actually don't hate Yamoja all too much, to be honest. She shares a lot of qualities with Persephone, in that she's like very difficult but very strong, but she's not as obnoxious as Persephone. I'd probably put her in like meh, because like when wielded by a good player, she can be like super ridiculously strong. And she's never going to take any nerfs because she performs badly in most ranks, but when you do see a good Yamoja player, she can ruin you, for sure. Ymir, I love playing against Ymir, especially good Ymir players that actually use the wall correctly is just a joy to watch. Like, seeing a Ymir, like, just wall people off repeatedly, like, with perfect walls, and, like, if they're playing Ymir correctly, his wall is his best ability, which is crazy. Super enjoy playing against Ymir. Zeus, hella boring. If he gets a lead, he wins the game. Maybe he should be down here, actually. If he gets a lead, he wins the game. If he doesn't get a lead, he fucking sucks. That's basically Zeus. And then Zhonghui, I don't mind. I don't have any strong opinions about Jingwei, really, either way. Jingwei? Zhonghui? Zhonghui. I don't really have any strong opinions about him. Let's zoom out so we can get the entire tier list in here. There we go. So there you go, that's the entire tier list. Obviously, this is very subjective. How fun a god is the most subjective thing in the entire game. Even tier lists based on balance are subjective, but this is obviously even more subjective than that. You may really love playing against some of the gods down here, you may really hate playing against some of the gods up here, that's totally fine. We all have our own opinions. And let me know down below if you do disagree heavily with any of my placements here. It'll be interesting to see what the community thinks about how fun the gods are, for sure. If I had to pick a most and least fun, probably either Vulcan or Ymir would be like my most fun to play against. And then like least fun, either Persephone, Hades, Aphro, or Arachne. There's just so many down here that like I really despise playing against that it'd be really tough to pick one. But one of those four, Persephone, Hades, Aphro, Arachne, one of those four. And yeah, that's a tier list. Let me know if you have any other ideas for tier lists like this down below. I enjoy making these. They're pretty fun. Just like these arbitrary tier lists that aren't balanced tier lists. That are just like random fun stuff. I enjoy making them. And if you have any other ideas for other videos, then obviously you can leave those down below as well. And I will catch you guys in the next video later on. Have a great day, and peace out, you nerds.